Thank you for that, William. Appreciate the super sticker. And also, Williams made some comments about the quarterback position. He really wants to see somebody come in and challenge Jordan Travis and stretch the field.
Who right now, I mean, we've talked about a little bit. Obviously, the name we've mentioned a lot is JT Daniel, the player transferring from Georgia. I guess my question is, who else is out there? I mean, obviously things will change in the next 2 months. Obviously, once everything's done with spring football. But I guess that would be my question: is what other quarterbacks do you think? And I think Mark, you're more on the national guy on this one, so I'll default this one to you. What other quarterbacks can you possibly see entering the portal once spring football ends?
No, that's a better question. I was starting to scan across the country and think, my goodness, we've already seen 20 quality quarterbacks switch programs already. Jaden DeLore was the freshman offensive player of the year in the Pac-12. He left Washington State, went to Arizona. Keaton Slope is from USC to Pitt. Jackson Dart from USC to Ole Miss, and I could keep going. Casey Thompson led the Big 12 in touchdown passes, left for Nebraska. Adrian Martinez left Nebraska, went to Kansas State, and just on and on and on. So there were opportunities out there. That's a great question.
I ask good questions.
Every returning quarterback except Indiana in the Big Ten, I know all their quarterback situations are returning starters. So there are some situations there. In terms of specific names, I don't have anybody off the top of my head. The Georgia quarterback room is stacked. Somebody's leaving there. If not, two players are going to leave there between Stetson Bennett, Carson Beck. Obviously, JT Daniels already left. Brock Vandergriff. I got to think that one of those four are going to leave. I had predicted two would leave. Daniels already left, so I'm going to say another Georgia quarterback's going to leave. I got to think that the quarterback that's out of the running at Texas A&M, which would be either Max Johnson or Haynes King, might look to move on as well.
You can see Max Johnson transferring a second school and before the season even starts.
Eric Gilbert did it.
Yeah, Carson Beck is the Beck kid from Georgia is always one that we've kept an eye on even during the season at Florida State. I remember being up in the press box and getting a text of someone to keep a close eye on once the season ended. But I don't see Florida State going after someone that's going to compete with Jordan Travis for a starting job. I think it'd be backup role. It's not going to be a guy that had contention of starting somewhere and they want to come in and start. I think they'd look for a veteran guy that can be behind Jordan Travis. And I know Florida State fans have had their scary memories of Alex Hornibrook back in the day, and kind of was a little bit of his role coming in, and you don't want to see much more of him, but at least a caliber that's ahead of him talent-wise would be nice to have behind Jordan Travis. And if you can fit that, I think Norvell and Dillingham learned their lesson last year, even though Dillingham's off to Oregon. Norvell learned his lesson that you can't have two quarterbacks run the same system unless these guys are true dual threat. I mean, Jordan Travis was dual threat guy. He led with his legs and then he had his arm. It was a complete opposite. It wasn't, with Milton, that just did not work. We saw it. We've talked about it multiple times on here, but that game was at NC State. Was it? Which game was that?
Wake Forest, I think.
Wake Forest.
Well, the Wake Forest. Yeah, where it was absolutely atrocious, where Jordan Travis couldn't play due to sickness. It was NC State, and Norvell and Florida State still intending on running that kind of scheme on offense, and it was awful.
Logan, can you not lie to the viewers? All you did in the press box was eat Chick-fil-A last season.
Yeah. I gave Norvell a hard time there. You should notice that. Jason, you should record this.
You should be doing that every single week until he has a winning season.
Did anybody?
That's all I'm saying.
Did anybody pick up Emory Jones from Florida?
I think he went back in. Yeah. I think Willie Napier got him to stay down there in Gainesville.
Did they really?
Whoa, you went Willie Napier. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't go William.
I like that. Wow. No, I like Willie still.